If you ever feel stuck repeating the same licks or boxed in on the fretboard, today's lesson is going to change that for you. You'll learn two of the easiest patterns on guitar, shapes that instantly open up the neck and help you sound more musical. By the end of this video, you'll have new phrasing ideas you can drop straight into your solos. These two patterns I'm talking about are called the diagonal minor pentatonic and the diagonal major pentatonic. They're incredibly simple, but most players tend to overlook them, and that's a big mistake. I've covered these before, but I'm covering them again because so many of my students over the past 30 years have dramatically changed their playing for the better by using these shapes. And before we dive in, if you're just getting started with your soloing journey, grab my free beginner soloist handbook. It's loaded with scales and arpeggios and clear explanations all in one place. You'll find the link in the description below. You can also sign up for the wait list for my new guitar course coming out very soon called The Musical Way to Solo. In this course, we take a deeper dive into how to use pentatonics and arpeggios and get you soloing with confidence. It's the next best thing to having multiple private lessons. Those on the wait list will get the best price available anywhere. Now, regarding pentatonics, the standard minor pentatonic box is where almost everyone begins, this one right here. Now there's nothing wrong with that shape. It works. But since it's used so often, players end up sounding the same and repeating the same phrases and licks. And you almost never end up connecting it to the other four pentatonic shapes that are also popular. You tend to stay landlocked in that one small area of the neck by using that one shape. Now some guitarists do try learning all 5 of the pentatonic box shapes. That's fine too, but here's the thing. When you can cover the whole fretboard with just one repeating pattern, why juggle 5 different ones? That's where diagonal shapes come in. They're easier to learn, easier to move, and way more musical sounding. The standard minor pentatonic has 5 notes. The first, the flat third, the fourth, the fifth, and the flat 7. The diagonal version takes those same notes, so 5 notes, and lays them out in a simple 2-3 pattern across 2 strings. Let me demonstrate. So if we play it in A minor, I'm going to go down to the 6th string here, and the root of this shape is going to be my second note that I play. So my first note I'm going to play is a whole step back here, so the G. The second note is the A right here, and that is the root of my A minor pentatonic. So I'll play those 2 notes, then I move to the 5th string right below, and I play 3 notes. So in this case it's going to be the 3rd fret, 5th fret, and 7th fret. That's the 2-3 pattern. And those are the 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, and it could not be a more simplified pattern. Then you just copy and paste that pattern to play the octave. So once we've played this, then I go up to the 4th string, and I play 2 notes. And you'll notice the second note is my root of the key I'm in, so in this case A minor. And then I go to the 3rd string and I play the 3 notes. So 2 notes followed by 3. Then I copy and paste the exact same pattern again. We have to adjust for the tuning difference by going up a fret on the B string, but you have to do that for anything you play. So here we play on the 8th fret, 10th fret, second note is the root, and then my 3 notes. So again, I'm playing A minor pentatonic, all in one simple pattern that I copied and pasted. Let me play the entire thing. And that's it, one small shape that you copied and pasted up the neck diagonally. The beauty is you're not memorizing 5 giant patterns, just one tiny 2-3 pattern that repeats. That makes it easy to visualize, easy to connect, and easy to use anywhere. Let's hear it over an A minor centered chord progression. So the chord progression I'm going to use in this track is A minor to F to C and then to G. Let's give it a try over the middle octave only, so right here. Just those 5 fret positions. works really well, and I only played 5 fret positions, but that made it much easier for me to listen to what I'm jamming over. Sometimes when you focus on too much, you lose track of where you are, and it's hard to play the best note choices. It can sound rambling and haphazard. But let's say you've become very comfortable with this 2-3 pattern, which covers all 5 notes in the pentatonic. Let's try to connect it to the pentatonic pattern above it that we'll copy and paste. As you could hear, that gave me more note choices, but I was able to still keep things pretty simple and land on the notes that were matching the chord tones going by. Try to give a good amount of your attention to the track you're playing over, and that will cause you to make better decisions with your notes. If you try to pack too many notes into what you're playing, it can lose its musicality, so take your time with this process and the payoff will be worth it. Now for the major pentatonic. That has the notes the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th. So the 4th and the 7th have been stripped out of a major scale. The diagonal version of the major pentatonic is just as simple as the minor version that we did, but it's inverted. So this time it's going to be a 3-2 pattern. Let me show you the pattern. So let's say we're playing it in the key of C. So C is our root right here. And in the major pentatonic case, you actually begin right on the root, not behind it. In the minor version, you do begin behind it. But with the major one, we begin right on it. And we play 3 notes, separated by whole steps, and then go down and you play your 2 notes. So the frets I'm playing here for C major are 8, 10, 12, and then I go down to the 5th string and I play 10 and 12. And then we'll do exactly the same thing. We're going to copy and paste that shape because we're only thinking in terms of small 5-note shapes here. We go down to the 4th string, we're going to play 3 notes, followed by 2 notes. One more time. Then I adjust for the tuning difference, so I go up a half step, play my 3 notes, followed by the 2 notes. And you can see I began on the C right here. So keep that in mind. For the major pentatonic, you always begin on the root. Here's the entire thing, copied and pasted. So this one is just as easy to memorize, and it sounds super major and upbeat typically. Try it 1 octave first and then expand from there, much like what we did with the minor pentatonic. So let's try this example over C major. Now notice how that stayed bright and happy. It's also just as easy to find your root anywhere and use that shape. In this case, I use the middle octave again, instead of going down here where it's kind of too low to solo. I'd rather be here. But let me do it again and I'll add this shape to it so that we get a few more choices. So you can see when I connected those 2 patterns, it gave me more options, but I still was able to keep it simple because I'm looking at 5-note patterns at a time. In this case, with the major pentatonic, it's 3 notes followed by 2. And then my other pattern was right here. Very easy to visualize that, and it just makes it easier to move as a result. And one of the best features of these diagonal shapes is how they force you to limit your choices. When you stop running up and down 6-string scale boxes, your playing stops sounding scalar and start sounding much more musical. You naturally focus more on things like bends, slides, rhythm, phrasing, the things that actually make solos sound musical. You can also apply this idea of less is more to arpeggios. There are some super simple arpeggio patterns that many players overlook, but could be using for soloing and more. I recently made a video about those, and you can check it out right here.